If you're like me, then at least at some point in your life you reasoned as follows. Oh, I ordered too much food. Well, I better finish it all because I paid for it. If you reason like this, then you've committed the sunk cost fallacy. What you've done is you said that, hey, I've already paid for this food, and since I can't get my money back for this food, I might as well finish it, even if it's going to make me worse off. So in this video, I want to look at the sunk cost fallacy. The first place to start is defining what a sunk cost is. To put it simply, a sunk cost is a cost that has been incurred but cannot be recovered. So it's money you've spent and you can't get back. Some examples. Let's say you bought tickets to a movie and you can't sell those tickets. This is a sunk cost. Let's say you've been in a relationship for 10 years and you can't actually get that time back. Another sunk cost or sunk time. Let's say you've been working really hard on a project and you can't get that energy back. That's also a sunk cost. So in short, a sunk cost is anytime you spend money, resources, time, energy into a particular project or thing and you can't get the cost of that back. Now let's look at what the sunk cost fallacy is. A sunk cost fallacy is whenever someone argues as follows. They're looking at least two different opportunities and they prefer one of those opportunities because they have sunk cost into that particular opportunity. In other words, they say, I should continue to pursue a particular project or activity or endeavor because I have sunk cost in that particular project or opportunity or endeavor. This argument is invalid. It's possible for the premises of the argument to be true and the conclusion false. But we can make the argument valid by adding a missing premise. And once we add this missing premise, then it becomes clear what's problematic about this particular argument. The missing premise is as follows. Whenever an individual sinks time or energy or resources into a particular endeavor, then they should continue that endeavor. But this proposition is false because there are times when we have sunk time, energy, or resources into a particular project, and we really should abandon this particular project. That is, we shouldn't continue on with a particular endeavor when there's some other endeavor or opportunity that would be more beneficial to us in the future. Let's look at some examples. Let's say I've been in a relationship for 10 years and someone comes along and says, hey, would you want to go out on a date with me? And I'm trying to think about this and I might say to myself, well, I've been in this relationship for 10 years and since I've sunk so much time and energy into this relationship, I should continue with this relationship. If I reason like this, I would commit the sunk cost fallacy. That is, if I pursued my current long-standing relationship over this new potential relationship, simply because I've spent so much time or energy or resources into it, I would commit this sunk cost fallacy. What I should do instead is think about the costs and benefits associated with staying or leaving. I shouldn't factor in simply the time spent in a particular relationship. Here's another example. Let's say there is a country and they are engaged in war against the country of Tuvalu, and they've been at war with the Tuvalu for about 100 years. So the country might reason as follows. Well, we have two different opportunities. Opportunity A is to continue this war, and opportunity B is to cease fighting. Well, if you reasoned, hey, we've been at this war for 100 years, and this gives us a reason to continue this war, then you'd commit the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you've been fighting this war for so long isn't a good reason, isn't relevant as to whether you should continue with the war. Instead, you should factor in current and future costs and benefits, not sunk costs. So one thing I want to really quickly point out is just because you stick with a particular project, endeavor, or opportunity doesn't mean you commit the sunk cost fallacy. You only commit the sunk cost fallacy if your reason for continuing on in that project or opportunity or endeavor is because you have already spent so much time or energy or resources in it. The final thing I want to point out is that human beings actually commit the sunk cost fallacy, and there are a number of studies that point this out. One study had individuals pay different prices to go to a play. So one group paid $15, another group paid $13, and a third group paid $8. What they found was that the individuals who were thrown into the group where they had to pay $15 were more likely to attend the play. And the idea here is since they sunk greater cost into this, they felt that they could not pursue the other alternative, which was to stay home or do the many other things that they could do with their time. Another study looked at the behavior of head coaches in the National Basketball League. What they found was that coaches were more likely to pay individuals that they picked higher in the draft than those that they were picked lower in the draft, regardless of their performance. So the idea here was that if you sunk cost into a player, that is, picked them high in the draft, then you were more likely to try to get a return on your investment rather than play a player simply based upon performance. So NBA coaches engaged in this sunk cost fallacy.